What was your favorite childhood memory caught on film or videotape? Do you have an easy way to watch it and share with friends and family or to post it? Probably not. Lucky for you, we found a solution, Legacy Box. And now is the time to take advantage of their best sale of the year during their holiday sales event. Legacy Box is the most meaningful gift you can give this holiday season to family or even yourself. It's simple, safe, and has been trusted by millions, including me. And for a limited time, you can preserve your tapes, film, reels, and photos as low as $27, saving you hundreds. Hurry. Legacy Box's best sale of the year won't last long. Visit legacybox.com/ratchet for an unreal 65% off during the Legacy Box holiday sales event. With limited quantities ready to ship, this deal will go fast. Shop Legacy Box's lowest prices of the year now at legacybox.com/ratchet. Buy your Legacy Box today. Send it when you're ready. Legacybox.com/ratchet. The holidays are here, and it's a perfect excuse to treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear from Honeylove. Don't start a new year wearing uncomfortable bras and shapewear. Honeylove has revolutionized the bra and shapewear game to give you incredible support and comfort in one. Treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market. Shop Honeylove's holiday sale and save an additional 20% off site-wide at honeylove.com/ratchet. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off at honeylove.com/ratchet to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. It's time to ditch the underwire for good. Thanks to Honeylove. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to the 500th episode of Ratchet and Respectable. Oh, I totally forgot that we had a milestone episode coming up. I remember last year, like around December, like I threw an event in Ghana to celebrate the 400th episode. And remember with that one, I thought it was 300 episodes until like a week before the event. Davita's company did the party for me. And I was like, yeah, we need balloons that say 300. And because Davita is bestie and she listens to the podcast, she went and checked and was like, no, this is 400. And I was like, no, it's 300. Like, it's impossible. 400 episodes. And she was like, yes, friend, 400. And I was like, oh my God. And then this year, I was out at an event. I've only been to one. It was the party I talked about last week, the Dave Chappelle thing. And people kept coming up to me saying, like, Demetria, like, you're home. Welcome back. It's very sweet. And someone said, they were like, oh, the 500th episode is coming up. And I was like, is it? And they were like, yeah, because like 400 was around this time last year, and you do like 2 episodes a week for like a year, and there's not that many breaks. I've taken a couple of breaks this year. I took off when I had the surgery in May, and then again when I had the surgery in October, and I took off for my birthday when I did the birthday trip. But like otherwise, like every Tuesday, every Friday for, the year, there's episodes, like somewhere around 100 episodes. So yeah, like I totally forgot, which people are like, how do you forget that like you have like this major milestone? I don't think about it. I think I said this last year when 400 was coming up. I do the work. Like every Tuesday, every Friday, a podcast has to be done. Like I don't count them. I do the work. I do it to the best of my ability. And that's that. One of my friends described it as, pack your lunch and go to work. Like that's what a grown woman with bills does. Like, yeah, totally forgot. I had no intention of celebrating. And I mentioned it to a couple people and they were like, you sound crazy. Like we remember when this podcast was just sort of like you were like, okay, I'll do it for 90 days and we'll see what happens. And what are we? Almost 6 years later, I started the podcast in January of 2019. I did a review of Michelle Obama's first book, like once a week for 90 days. Like, let's see. And then it just sort of took off. And it was supposed to be like my side hustle. Well, that's not true. I wasn't getting paid for like maybe like the first 3 months or so. And then after that, it started being monetized. And then I signed with an agency, I think probably 6 months in. But that little 90-day experiment like changed my life. I moved to LA with no job. Like there was the prospect of Don't Waste Your Pretty getting turned into a movie. It had been bought by the network, but they still hadn't decided whether they were going to move forward, which is like the big check. But I moved out to LA on some like hopes and dreams. Like I had some money after the divorce, and then I had my savings that I hadn't tapped into yet. So I was like, well, let's move out to LA and see what could happen. My dad always likes to tell me, he was like, you were so bad off. You said to me, like, LA is super far. Like, don't let me get out there and like be homeless. Like, promise you'll like bring me back if like I fall on my ass and like I blow all my money and I can't get home. Like, I don't want to live in the car and live on the street. He was like, in the moment, I was like, you sound ridiculous. But he was like, okay, Demetria, yes. If something happens, we'll bring you back from LA. We won't let you be homeless. It sounds crazy until you actually get to LA and you see like the number of people, even people on TV, who are living out of their cars or couch surfing because they famous, but the money ain't rolling in. Especially now, like the studios and the networks just aren't buying the same way. Like very, very talented people who have really insane resumes, who've worked consistently for like 2 decades are just not working. The industry is just down bad. Like the actors, the behind the scenes people, the executives, like everybody's like really going through it. But yeah, the little podcast that could, 500 episodes. I really wasn't going to do shit for it. And I mentioned it on Instagram earlier today. Like I posted some pictures from the Dave Chappelle party. And I just mentioned literally it's like a postscript. And I was like, yeah, like the 500th episode of Ratchet and Respectable just came up and like I didn't plan shit. Like I don't know, should I do something? And like everyone overwhelming, like, people responded in the comments, but also like my friends started texting me and DMing me and was absolutely, you must do something. Like this is a major accomplishment, a major milestone. And I was like, is it? It's 500. It's not like 1,000. And they were like, yes, it's 500. Like most people don't do 500 or anything. Theoretically, the podcast is probably the longest job I've ever held. I haven't had a 9 to 5 since 2011 when I left Essence. I stayed at Essence 4 years. That was the longest I'd ever been anywhere. And then before that, 3 years at Harlequin, 2 years at BET, 1 year working for the city when I first moved to New York. But this podcast, 2019 to rolling up on 2025, 6 years? Yeah. Let's see. I made it to the gym. I didn't make it on Tuesday when I was recording the podcast. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym. Didn't make it. The podcast went in really late. Whenever we do lawsuits, they just take up a lot of time in the podcast and a lot of editing. But I made it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's not as bad as I expected. Like my core is just, like I got, Frankenstein, but my core has to be like entirely rebuilt. I'm trying to take it easy. I'm trying not to overdo it. I hear the horror stories of people who are like, I felt fine and then ended up in the ER because, they did too much. So I'm trying not to do that. A lot of cardio. I'm trying to do that 12-3-30 thing just as like a goal. I did it before and it was relatively easy. I can't do it all the way through now, like without holding on to the side of the treadmill. It's a process. It's humbling. I know if I do the work, like I'll build everything back up, but it's just a matter of the patience, the time, the mental hurdle of just, not being where you used to be, being where you want to be. It's like doing just like a whole lot of hard work just to get back to where you were is humbling, to say the least. We have much to talk about this week. Some folks are just having pure fucking meltdowns online. Before we get to Remy Ma and her husband and his mistress and her mister, it's a lot going on in that household. Before we get to that, we need to talk about some good Black news. We'll talk about Aaron Pierre. Remember he had that movie on Netflix? It was a little dry. The light-skinned dude with the blue eyes. What was the name of that movie? I watched it the day it came out. It wasn't really that good, but I watched it because he was fine. Rebel Ridge. It started off good, but then it just got dry. And I was like, I don't care. I'm watching it because he's fine. He's in Mustafa, the movie, the Lion King prequel with Blue Ivy. He's in that film as well. Last week we only talked about Blue Ivy because there was, so much going on with her parents and then her film premiere in the middle of, some drama that her father is going through. But Aaron Pierre walked the red carpet with his family, his mother and father, and then his brother and his sister. These are some of the most beautiful Black people I have ever seen. For confirmation, Aaron Pierre, light skinned with those blue gray eyes, two Black parents. He looks like daddy. His daddy is fine. Fine, fine. Wait, how old is Aaron Pierre? You know, I don't like to like fan out too hard about men who are under 30. I just don't feel right. 31. He just made the cut. No, that's not him. This man is dark skinned. This man is like a professional footballer for Grenada. Okay, no, 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 no. Aaron Pierre, I guess is a popular name. Aaron Pierre, actor, British actor, age. He's 30. Okay. Damn, born in 1994. That's like a sophomore in high school. I feel old. He is Jamaican, Sierra Leonean, and Curaçaoan. He fine. He British. He's from Brixton in London. I hung out in Brixton. I ain't seen nobody that looked like this when I was in London. Not when I was a kid or when I stayed there last summer. Like I was all over Brixton. I was like, where are these Brixton boys, these Peckham boys that look like Blue Blanket and what's my fave? Franklin Stank. What's his name? Damson Idris. Like I ain't seen nothing that looked like them. Getz, the rapper, actor, he one of the finest men I've ever seen in my life. He is blessed. I ain't seen nothing that looked like none of them when I was running around London all summer. Not nary a one. Very upsetting. I was also walking around in a wool coat like the end of June. I was like, this is some bullshit. London is not my favorite city, not by far. That's not the point. What was the point? The point is Aaron Pierre and his whole family, but especially his married daddy, just looking, no touching, no disrespect. That was the point. Black British people. As chilly evenings set in and holiday decor lights up our homes, Home Chef is delivering new hearty recipes and your favorite comfort foods that pair perfectly with a cozy evening. Home Chef delivers fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes conveniently to your doorstep to simplify your cooking experience. Users of leading meal kits have rated Home Chef #1 in quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. Whether you prefer classic meal kits with pre-portioned ingredients, quick 30-minute recipes, or oven-ready options, Home Chef has everything you and your family need for hassle-free, delicious dinners. My favorite thing about Home Chef, in addition to how good the food is it's economical. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 per month on groceries. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life. And of course, free shipping on your first box. Go to homechef.com/ratchet. That's homechef.com/ratchet for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/ratchet. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. What was your favorite childhood memory caught on film or videotape? Do you have an easy way to watch it and share with friends and family or to post it? Probably not. Lucky for you, we found a solution, Legacy Box. And now is the time to take advantage of their best sale of the year during their holiday sales event. Legacy Box is the most meaningful gift you can give this holiday season to family or even yourself. It's simple, safe, and has been trusted by millions, including me. And for a limited time, you can preserve your tapes, film, reels, and photos as low as $27, saving you hundreds. I got the idea to do Legacy Box when I was looking for old pictures of my parents. I wanted to do one of those videos where you showcase your parent now and then talk about how they used to break hearts back in the day. I'm digging through boxes in the basement and I was like, there's got to be an easier way to do this. Legacy Box is a simple and safe way to digitize your treasured videotapes, film reels, and photos. And they've helped over 1 million families do just that. Not to mention, everything is done by hand right here in the US. Convert your media to digital copies that will always be protected from floods, mold, or even the decay of time. The process is so easy. Send in your legacy box filled with old VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, and pictures. Their team professionally digitizes everything by hand in the USA, and you'll get it back on the cloud or thumb drive along with your originals. Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer. They've helped over 1 million families relive their favorite memories. Hurry! Legacy Box's best sale of the year won't last long. Visit legacybox.com/ratchet for an unreal 65% off during the Legacy Box holiday sales event. With limited quantities ready to ship, this deal will go fast. Shop Legacy Box's lowest prices of the year now at legacybox.com/ratchet. Buy your Legacy Box today. Send it when you're ready. Legacybox.com/ratchet. The Golden Globes are upon us. Well, I mean, they're coming, but the nominees for the Golden Globes are out. The only person I saw, it's the only reason I know the Golden Globes nominations were announced, was Denzel. 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 That could be Pam from Martin voice. That could be Whitley Gilbert voice. That could be my mama voice. Let's see. Denzel Washington. I'm reading this on vibe.com. Let's support the Black publications. Ooh, Denzel looked good in this picture. It's from The Equalizer 3, 2022. The headline for Vibe says Denzel Washington sets new Golden Globe Awards nomination record. The record was previously held by late acting legend Sidney Poitier. Denzel has earned a nomination for Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture for Gladiator 2 at the upcoming Golden Globe Awards. This nomination marks his 11th Golden Globe nomination, setting a new record for Black performers. And again, we're reading from Vibe. It says Sidney Poitier was nominated 10 times in his illustrious career. They also add here that Denzel has won 2 Golden Globes, one for Best Supporting Actor in Glory, and then the following year for Best Film Drama Actor for The Hurricane. Those are also the years he won Oscars, no? So him being nominated for a Golden Globe, does that make him more likely to be nominated for an Oscar? I would like to go to the Oscars someday. I'm planning to be in LA for award season, at least the February portion of award season. That was good times. LA during award season, but all the Black in LA is out, all the Black in New York is in town, and then all the Black in Atlanta is in town. That's good times. I think when I was out there for award season one year, it's kind of what made me want to move to LA. Because I would only really go out to LA when I was working. There was always something going on. I was like, oh yeah, LA is great. And then I got out there and was like, I was also like kind of broke when I first moved. And then COVID happened. And then when I was unbroke, I was over it and moved to Ghana. That's not the point either. The point is, let's see what other Black people are nominated. We about to find this out in real time. Like I just made notes, but I didn't read up on any of this stuff. Nominations for 82nd Annual Golden Globes. You know how we do when we go through the nominations, just the Black. The Golden Globes air January 5th on CBS. Who's producing this? Do I know anybody? Let's see. Mindy Kaling and MF Morris Chestnut. That man keeps a job. He has a new show on CBS. Did it start yet? Whatever it is, I'll watch it because Morris Chestnut is in it. But they did the presentations for the nominees. There are 27 award categories. Let's see. Oh, this is a Dick Clark production. I don't know nobody over there. Damn it. I would like to go. I'm actually planning to go to Belize in January. I told you that Shine documentary did it for me. I was trying to go for New Year's Eve, but it was so expensive. Like just the ticket alone was $2,400, just like economy. And I was like, I know you fucking lying. January 1st going forward, the ticket went down to like anywhere between $650 and $800. And I was like, yeah, so it's not like I need PTO to go. I was like, I just wait and go to Belize later. Let's see. Best Motion Picture. None of this is Black stuff. It might have Black people in it, but none of this is Black. Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. Wicked. Moving along. Best Motion Picture, Animated. Moana 2. It's making a shit ton of money. It must be good. Everything else, I don't know. Memoir of a Snail. Whatever. Cinematic and box office achievement. Gladiator 2 is on the list. Wicked is on the list. Nothing else I care about is on the list. Yeah, we're not reading all this stuff. Best performance by a female actor. Nobody Black. Best performance by a male actor. Coleman Domingo and Sing Sing. That's not even out yet. I keep hearing about how good it is. I like Coleman Domingo. The Madness did make it to #1 on Netflix in multiple countries. I watched maybe like the first 2 or 3 episodes. I didn't go back to it though. It was fine. I didn't love it. I love Coleman Domingo, but I didn't love it. I saw people making fun of him the whole series. He refused to close his mouth. They were like, his mouth is dry. I was like, don't be nice. It's Coleman Domingo. I love Coleman Domingo. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. Zendaya, Challengers. Oh, Challengers is also nominated for something. I didn't know that was Zendaya's film. Let me scroll back up. Challengers was nominated for Best Motion Picture. I'll root for that because Zendaya is in it. Let's see. Best performance by a male actor. Nobody black. Best performance by a female actor in supporting role in any motion picture. Zoe Saldana. Amelia Perez? What is that? Don't even know what that is. I've never even heard of that. I don't live in the country half the time. But still. Best performance by a male actor supporting role in any motion picture. Denzel! Gladiator 2. Best director. Nobody black. Best screenplay. Nobody black. Nobody obviously black. Because I did that for the Oscars one year and I was like, nobody black. And then like 3 black people won. And I was like, wait, where y'all come from? Best original score. To my knowledge, nobody black. Nobody whose blackness I am aware of. Let's put it that way. Best original song. To my knowledge, no one black. This isn't fun anymore. Best television series, drama. The Day of the Jackal. I still have 2 more episodes to go. I'm rooting for the Jackal. I started watching it because I really like Lashana Lynch. And I thought I'd be rooting for her. She's on like the cop FBI side. Not FBI. What do they call it? Because it's a British show. Their version of CIA, FBI, one of those. But I've been rooting for the Jackal. It's a smart show. It's well told. The conflict is really good. The last 5 minutes of every episode, chef's kiss. I love when the writers do that. The Diplomat on Netflix, I'm assuming they mean Diplomat 2. I watched it. It wasn't as good as Diplomat 1. It was convoluted. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Prime Video, that's with Donald Glover. Shogun, everyone and their mother has recommended Shogun to me. I've tried. I've legit tried to watch this. I cannot get into it. I can't. I tried. Then they got some other stuff. Slow Horses, Squid Game. Is there a new Squid Game? Because they're not talking about the one from like years ago. There must be a new Squid Game. All right. Best television series, musical or comedy. Abbott Elementary. I love me some Quincy. Actually, I like that whole cast. I didn't start watching Abbott Elementary till somewhere around season 3. And like I binged it. I was like, well, let me just watch it. Because like, I say I love Quinta, but I ain't watching Quinta's show. But like, let me support the Quinta. And then I watched episode 1 and ended up binging all the way through. It was a couple episodes into season 3. And I was like, I love this show. The Bear, never watched the episode. Couldn't get into it. I tried. Those are the only ones I'm familiar with. Best television, limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. Baby Reindeer. I keep hearing great things about that. No interest. Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. Lived it. Don't care. The Penguin. I started watching The Penguin. I need to go back to that because that was actually really good. Everybody was just batshit crazy. And I was like, this is great TV. Best performance by a female actor in a television series. Nobody black. Kerry Russell from The Diplomat. Emma Darcy from House of the Dragon. HOD. That's the second season was ungood. But who plays Emma Darcy? I don't even recognize her. Oh, because she has brown hair in real life instead of blonde. She's the blonde queen or the rightful queen who ain't on the throne. I watched that whole season 2 waiting on a war to happen and wasn't no damn war. Very frustrating. Let's see. Best performance by a male actor. Donald Glover is the only name I recognize. So it's good for him. It says Eddie Redmayne from Day of the Jackal. I'm assuming that's the Jackal. Best performance by a female actor, television series. Quinta Brunson and Ayo Idabiri from The Bear. Those are only black people. One of them will win. Best performance by a male actor in a TV series, musical or comedy. Nobody black that I'm aware of. I can rule out, there's 6 names. I can rule out 5 of them as non-black people. Best performance by a female actor. No. I'd identify all of them. Nobody black. Best performance by a male actor, limited series, anthology series, motion picture for television. Nobody black. There's not enough black people nominated for me. Female actor, supporting role on television. Nobody black. I watch mad shows with black people in them. Ain't no black people nominated. This isn't good. A lot of brown people, which, okay, I love the brown, but like, where the black people at? Best performance in stand-up comedy on television, Jamie Foxx. His new, they didn't call it a comedy special on Netflix. They called it a personal narrative. I was like, it's kind of like altar call testimony with a bit of variety hour. Also like a bit of audition tape. We'll talk about it. All right, he's the only black person in the category. This wasn't enough black people for me. I feel like I read through all these categories. It's like 20, what did I say? What did I say? 27 award categories? I feel like maybe 10 of them have black people. That's it. That's it. Good black news. I was reading on Joy Reid's page. President Biden, he is on track to nominate the most black judges of any president, any one-term president. So Biden, why can't I pull this up? I hate this new update on Apple for the photos. Whoever did this needs to be drawn and quartered. Okay, so Barack Obama, during his 2 terms, appointed 62 black federal judges. And then Bill Clinton also nominated 62 black federal judges. Both of them had 2 terms. Biden, 1 term, he's already nominated 62 black judges. So that's very good. I also saw Biden has pardoned or clemency 1,500 people. We don't have the details on like who all he looking out for just yet. Let me see if we can find anything else about Biden's pardons before we move on. I'm glad I looked it up. He's commuting 1,500 sentences and he's pardoning 39 people. Biggest single day act of clemency. I'm reading this on AP. Joe Biden is commuting the sentences of roughly 1,500 people who were released from prison and placed on home confinement during the COVID pandemic, and he's pardoning 39 Americans convicted of nonviolent crimes in modern history. The second largest single-day act of clemency was Barack Obama in 2017. He let 330 people out of jail. All right, Biden. He says the clemency follows a broad pardon for his son Hunter, who was prosecuted for gun and tax crimes. Y'all can bring that up as often as you want. I don't care. I literally do not care. You know what else I don't care about? We talked about it briefly last week, and Blue Ivy and her appearance on the red carpet. I kept my comments to a minimum because she's a 12-year-old girl, and we talk about adult behavior on this podcast. We don't talk about kids. I will make an exception to defend a child. This child has caught hell since literally she was born. I mean, the complaint originally was she looks too much like her father. A lot of people don't find her father attractive. So, roundabout, they're calling this baby, she's a child, saying she was unattractive. They talked about her hair because Beyonce just let her have free hair. Now she has a whole beautiful head of hair, but Beyonce wasn't, snatching back her edges or combing her edges down or putting a bunch of bubbles and barrettes and ponytails and whatever in her hair. Then, she was dancing on tour last summer, an 11-year-old girl dancing in front of crowds of tens of thousands of people. She was nervous when she started and she got much better over time. Like she put in the work and she much improved. And by the end of the tour, like she was doing really, really good. But also, again, like she's 11. She wants to be on tour and dance with her mom. Like this is not a crime. So this recent red carpet she has on, which to me looked like of a Disney princess dress. It's the cut of like almost every, especially the old school ones, but every Disney princess dress we've ever seen. And she is in fact a Disney princess. Like in the new film, like she plays somebody's daughter, but she's like a lion. I don't know if her dad is the king, but she's like a royal lion, a nobility lion, if nothing else. But yeah, like she showed up on this red carpet in this Christian Siriano gown. It's like gold. Is it gold foil? I don't know. It's gold. I thought it was beautiful. I thought she looked really elegant. I also thought she looked really 12. She is a tall kid. Puberty has started. Let's not go into like the details. Let's just acknowledge that this is something that happens to preteens and teens all around the world. She's on a red carpet for her film premiere. She got her makeup done. She has on a dark lip. She has on eyeshadow. She's got a full face of makeup on. She's also standing in front of, I don't know, minimum tens, perhaps hundreds of paparazzi. And the photos are going to be distributed worldwide because of who she is, more important, who her parents are, and also the promotion of a Disney film. Like, it's a global event. So, yeah, she had a full face of makeup and she had a beautiful gown and she had on some heels. Did an outfit change later and the dress was much shorter and she still had on high heels. Like, she walks like a 12-year-old in heels. Like, she's a kid. And so people were like, oh, she looks so much older than what she is. She looks grown. So being 12 and looking grown, which she didn't. You could say maybe she looked like she was 14 when she was standing still. But if you saw her on video in motion, she's 12. She's going through a growth spurt. She's 12. She's growing. She's a tall kid, not even a teenager. She's very much a kid, a child. The people just have been just going in on her about the dress and the cleavage and the red lip. And I say this again, she's 12 and we all know she's 12. So even if she's 12 and she's quote and unquote dressed grown and she gives the appearance of 18, which she very much did not, she's still 12. A 12-year-old looking like an 18-year-old doesn't make them grown, doesn't make them 18, doesn't make them an adult. It just makes them a 12-year-old in a dress that you find inappropriate and wearing more makeup than you think someone that age should wear. She's still 12. We all know she's 12. So I don't understand why people are dragging her. But I also didn't understand why people were dragging her over her dancing last summer when she was only 11. Mofos is trifling. That's a child. Let's see. What else do we have in here? I didn't even mean to talk about Blue Ivy. Oh, we can come back. Caitlin Clark. I've consistently liked her. I think people use her image as, I don't know, they try to make her into like some great white hope and they try to make her MAGA because she's a white girl from the Midwest. But she's been pretty consistent. The way that Angel Reese and other Black women in the league get pitted against her is very much a media creation from the very beginning when it was the thing about the, I don't know, was it the yayo wave, the yayo hand gesture that Angel Reese made toward Caitlyn after Caitlyn had done the same gesture to other people while playing without much scrutiny at all. They were just like, people talk shit on the court. But then somehow when Angel Reese did it, we talked about this in detail when it happened. Angel Reese is called a thug. She's considered ghetto. She's aggressive. So, like, even when all that was happening, Caitlin Clark didn't say anything for a while. Like, she just, did the work, made her shots, played the game to the best of her ability, which is very, very good. Someone finally interviewed her when Angel Reese was catching all this hell. And they were like, well, people are saying how disrespectful it was. And Angel Reese is aggressive and unsportsmanlike and blah, blah, blah. What do you think? And Caitlin Clark was like, yeah, it's basketball. Like, we're athletes. We talk shit. I ain't feel no ways about it. Like, it wasn't a thing for me. Y'all made it a thing. She's been consistent with stuff like that. So she just did an interview recently, and they asked her about the NBA. And I think folks were expecting her to be the female basketball face of MAGA or Great White Hope, or Time named her Athlete of the Year. They also named the next president, unfortunately, of the United States Person of the Year. And I was like, the man has, I understand he won the re-election, right? But he has 34 felonies, all those court cases. He got found liable for rape. He still owes the state of New York something like $430 million. And y'all made him Time of the Year, but I guess fuck it, y'all made him president. So that's not the point. The point is, Time named Caitlin Clark Athlete of the Year, which, okay. I don't know what question they asked her that led to this. I guess maybe they asked her about discrimination in the sport. And I'm going to read the quote in full because I think it's worth reading. She said, I want to say I've earned every single thing. But as a white person, there is privilege. A lot of the players in the league that have been really good have been Black players. This league has kind of been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, and then continue to have brands and companies invest in those players that have made this league incredible, I think that's very important. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate Black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing. MAGA folks are pissed. Pissed. They're like, wait, our great white hope is like a Black girl ally? What the fuck? You've been elevated to a particular position. You could just throw everybody under the bus and you're like, hey, thank you for accepting me. I appreciate you. But can you open the door for the Black women that actually, set the tone for this league all these years that I grew up watching and made me want to be a player? Like, they deserve endorsements and money and love and attention too. It's not just about me. Like, I'm dope, but so are they. You should recognize them too. Thanks, Caitlin. I appreciate you. I'm reading this on MSNBC, by the way. It says, predictably, Clark's response sent, quote, MAGA world into a full-on tantrum. It says Clark has been portrayed as great white hope. I said that without even reading this part. In a largely Black league. And her mere acknowledgement of the privileges she's been afforded as a white woman clearly upset them. That anger was stoked in part by right-wing provocateur Megyn Kelly, who has essentially built a career as a cog in the conservative outrage machine. After Kelly threw a fit online portraying Clark as, quote, on the knee, all but apologizing for being white. How did she get that? The first thing she said is like, everything I've got, I've earned. And I also have white privilege. And there are Black women who are dope who need to be recognized. It says the hoop star, Caitlin, seemed unfazed Wednesday during a timed event. She said, I think my best skill is just blocking out the noise, and hopefully it continues to be. This is MSNBC editorializing. It says some of the folks in the conservative movement are clearly angry that Clark isn't interested in being their ignorant MAGA princess, and their cries would be hilarious if they weren't so pitiful. I mean, basically. The author of this post, his name is Jahan Jones, Black.
Hey everybody, my name is Bob the Drag Queen.
And I'm on Exchange.
And we are the hosts of Sibling Rivalry. This is the podcast where two best friends gab, talk, smack, and have a lot of fun with our Black queer selves.
Yeah, for sure. And we are family, so we talk about everything, honey, from why we don't like hugs, to Black Lives Matter, to interracial dating, to other things. Right, Bob?
Yes, and it gets messy, and we are not afraid to be wrong. So please join us over here at Sibling Rivalry, available anywhere you get your podcast. You can listen and subscribe for free.
For free, honey.
The holidays are here, and it's a perfect excuse to treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear from Honeylove. Don't start a new year wearing uncomfortable bras and shapewear. Honeylove has revolutionized the bra and shapewear game to give you incredible support and comfort in one. Say goodbye to uncomfortable underwire and bulky fabrics that trap heat. Honeylove's bras feature supportive bonding that eliminates the need for underwire without sacrificing lift. I love that. Plus, they're made with fabric that's so soft you won't want to take them off. They're perfect underneath cozy winter sweaters. As for their shapewear, Honeylove uses targeted compression technology so you no longer have to feel like you're suffocating while wearing shapewear. You'll immediately feel and see the difference. Their shapewear is the perfect base layer for holiday party outfits. Treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market. Shop Honeylove's holiday sale and save an additional 20% off site-wide at honeylove.com/ratchet. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off at honeylove.com/ratchet to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. It's time to ditch the underwire for good. Thanks to Honeylove. Let's see. Remy Papoose. We don't have to go into too much detail about them. I don't really like to talk about married people's drama that they bring to the internet because ain't nothing I can say that could solve this. Like, you've decided to, invite us into the group chat, but like we can't do nothing for your situation. Like, you could tell us about it and we could be entertained. It's not like there's anything like educational about this. Like, it's literally entertainment. Like, you're running up the numbers on Baller Alert. because everybody's refreshing the page to see what crazy shit you did now. And then the comment section is insane. Remy Ma and Papoose, I don't really know what the catalyst for this was. Something happened where Remy Ma realized Papoose was on the phone with a woman. She got on the phone and she started speaking, and the woman hung up. The woman in question is a boxer. I read she has a film coming out on Christmas Day. I wasn't going to watch it no way, one way or another. Papoose' new girlfriend, Clarissa Shields. I ain't going to say too much about her. She's a professional boxer. I don't want my ass beat. So I'm just going to stick to the facts. So Remy claims that Papoose is having an affair with this woman. She released text messages that the woman has sent to her husband. Papoose says that the messages were doctored and that wasn't what was really sent. But Remy says she screenshotted, and I kind of actually believe her version of events. The woman sending messages to her husband. What was the issue? He went somewhere and he didn't call her when he got home. He was like, nobody can let you know like every move that they make, something like that. And so she was like, I asked for like simple things. It's not like you're married. So it's not like you could spend the night, and it's not like we could fall asleep on the phone together. And I was like, wait, how old is this woman? Like, falling asleep on the phone together was like shit I did when I was like 15. She's 29. She's young. How old is Papoose? Papoose and Remy like my age, 46. Remy, I think, is like 44. So middle-aged people and a 29-year-old. She's young, but still, it's a little old to be wanting to fall asleep on the phone with somebody. So she's fully aware that like Papoose is married, that he's living in the house with his wife, and there are still some, they may not be happily married because, he's clearly having an affair, but there's still like, some marriage structures going on, hence why he can't fall asleep on the phone with her and why he can't spend the night with her. So Remy released those text messages, and then she also released a video recording in her phone. The girl, the boxer, had been all in her DMs asking her about like, where does she shop? Who's her stylist? Where does she get her clothes? And Remy was like, nah, this all me. Like, I do this. Happy New Year, Remy. This is in January of this current year. Like, reaching out to her, like on some, like, trying to be friends, trying to be homies, and all the while, like, sleeping with her husband. There was also another text message about how, like, the woman was complaining, like, the Pap was traveling and he didn't call her. And Remy was like, yeah, because you're not his only girlfriend. Like, there's you, but there's also some girl out in Cali. Pap is been fucking around. Also, Remy, it seems, has as well, which we'd heard rumors about before. There was some derelict rapper nobody's ever heard of, did some freestyle, and he said something about sleeping with Remy. This came out like a while ago. So Remy says that she's putting all this out there now because she was like, people are talking about shit that I'm doing. She also said that she didn't cheat, to which Papoose posted a picture of her booed up like last Christmas. And he was like, while I was home with our 6-year-old daughter, this is what you were doing. And then like posted a picture of her like booed up, like 80s style, like 80s couple style, like sitting on the floor in front of a Christmas tree. And I was like, ma'am, I know you're not taking holiday photos with another nigga and got a whole husband at home. But Remy maintains Pap has not been faithful to me like all this time. Like he walks around here acting like he's like this best husband. He's this faithful husband. He's this perfect man. She was like, he was cheating the whole time I was locked up. I'm like, sis, she was gone for like 7 years. They did get married and there were conjugal visits. I think like conjugal visits were only like 4 times a year. I'm just saying, asking somebody to be like more or less celibate except for like conjugal visits, a man or woman, because I'm consistent because I literally just had the same conversation about the Mandelas, and I was like, you thought you was, and he didn't actually, Mandela didn't, but I was like, you was gone for 27 years. You thought your wife was going to be faithful and abstinent that whole time? Like, you sound crazy. So it just seems like there's been a lot of drama in their relationship. I mean, prison is drama within it, in and of itself. That said, I did speak to a producer. It's a friend. It's not somebody I reached out to. Somebody just like, we were just having a conversation. I did speak to a producer that worked on their show. And he was like, he was like, I hate to see it, to be quite honest. And he was like, when I worked on the show, they were a full couple who were really into each other and very much in love. It wasn't like made for TV. It wasn't putting on for cameras, or they were really like into each other. So he was like, this really actually sucks to see this kind of drama. And he was like, remember when, like, Papoose and Remy were kind of like a hood fairy tale. He was like, it was a thing. Like, they had a real relationship and people really looked up to them. And just to see them, people keep saying Remy's crashing out. And I was like, no, they both crashing out right now. Papooses response, I said I wasn't going to go into this. Remy said that she's been loyal. She didn't cheat. She was just like, I'm tired of people in this narrative that, like, I'm like the horrible person in this relationship and painting him as like, this great man when he's out here doing a bunch of trifling shit. Papoose, I can't even get the words out. He responded to Remy when he posted, he's since taken it down, but it was on Baller Alert too, so screenshots live forever. This is when I was talking about the Christmas thing. He posted a picture of Remy and her side man. He says, well, I was at home with my daughter last Christmas. This was where Remy Ma was with this other dude for Christmas. Literally, there's a tree in the background. They are booed up like hard body. He says, now that I finally moved on, I'm like, sir, what do you mean you moved on? Y'all are still married and living in the same house. And being is how you can't spend the night out or fall asleep on the phone. And this woman is complaining to you that you're married and you're limited in your movements. Y'all are still in a marriage. It might be dysfunctional, but like y'all are still married, no papers filed for separation and living in the same house. Like in what ways did you move on? Like you moved on emotionally, but you still whole married and can't move like a single person. Like how have you moved on? I'm just reading what he said, even if it don't make sense. But he says, now that I finally moved on, she's angry and making up lies. Hashtag narcissist. I told her we could divorce like adults. She refuses to do that because I wouldn't lie and say I didn't knock this chump out. The chump being the side man. Also, he says, I told her we could divorce like adults. She refuses to do that. I got a divorce in the state of New York. You don't need your partner to be on board in order to file for divorce. Like you could be like, can we get a divorce? And they'd be like, no. You could just go ahead and file and start the divorce process. Like it takes longer as opposed to, y'all coming to some agreement and divvying up your assets and then just having a judge sign off on the whole thing because it's, it's a legal situation. But like you can file for divorce and then a judge will, and then you have to submit all this paperwork. It takes forever and a day, but a judge will make the decision about how everything is going to be divided. And then you could be divorced. You don't need the other person on board. So for him to be like, like I asked her for a divorce and she said no, you can file. Most divorces are filed by women, but it's not like something's keeping men from filing. It's just most of them just tend to be lazy. But like if you want out, like nothing's keeping him here. Like he asked her for a divorce. She said no. He's chosen not to file. He's chosen to still be living in the house, which Remy was like, I pay the bills in here. Like I'm the one with the money, but neither here nor there. They're a couple. They've been married for a while. It's their money at this point. Okay. But the shit he's saying don't make no sense. It's interesting, but it don't make no sense. She refuses to divorce because I wouldn't lie and say I didn't knock this chump out. He says, I still got the messages of her begging me to lie about the knockout, but who cares? Which I was like, sir, y'all need lawyers because what you're admitting to here is assault. Like this man could easily sue you right now and your ass could end up in jail. Actually, though, I don't think a judge is going to lock him up. Like the man was having sex with your wife and Papoose's version is I beat his ass. And the last time I saw him, he was in the fetal position. Everybody saw it. So there's a bunch of witnesses to this. Papoose says he didn't throw one punch back. Hashtag super soft. He says, when I knocked him out, Remy Ma woke him up and went home with him for 4 days. I went home with my daughter. Wait, is this last Christmas when this happened? He says, as you can see, she couldn't wait to lie about it again. SMH, hashtag narcissist. I didn't knock him out because he slept with my wife. I knocked him out because he shook my hand and then slept with my wife. That's bars. That's bars. There's also like honor and code. There's a lot wrapped up in that. Papoose is a great lyricist. I interviewed him years and years ago. This little hip hop magazine called The Av. Pap was coming out with his first album. I interviewed him. Was in an apartment in Brooklyn. I remember him and Flex standing in the kitchen. I don't know what year that was. Mess. All of this is a mess. And then the mistress, I would be embarrassed to show my face. But the mistress don't feel no way about it. I don't know what Pap told her. I don't know what she feels gassed with. But she was going back and forth with Remy online. And so she was like, how does a woman with 2 boyfriends get mad about her husband having a girlfriend? And I was like, girl, what? At least had a decency to act like you shame. Pretend like I didn't know. He told me they were getting a divorce. I mean, come on, play the role. He ain't filed, she ain't filed. They both sitting up in the same house and seemingly with some expectation of fidelity because they both mad as hell and airing each other out online about the other person cheating. I was like, so y'all married. Y'all dysfunctional, y'all unhappy, but y'all married, and don't seemingly have no plans to leave, which, look, my knee jerk is not to be like, y'all need to separate, y'all need a divorce. I mean, this is clearly toxic. This is dysfunctional. Y'all need some therapy. No, first of all, y'all need y'all Wi-Fi disconnected. Your phone plan needs to be shut off. Like, you don't have no business with the phone plan, no business with social media, no business with Wi-Fi. Y'all don't know how to conduct yourselves properly as middle-aged people. This is not acceptable. Like the boxer girl, she's 29. She young, she's spicy. She don't really fully understand consequences. She's trying to challenge Remy Ma to a fight. I was like, what kind of pipe is Pap laying for you trying to literally fight over this man? I know you're a professional. I was like, you get paid for that, sis. You gonna fight for free over a nigga? A married nigga? There's no person right for you right now. Like Remy, people be like, oh, she's crashing out. Remy's actually his wife. She actually has something to stand on. Like whether she was cheating, whether he was cheating, they're still married. There's still some sort of covenant happening between them. It's not like, she found out about the cheating and she left. He found out about the cheating and he left. Like, no, y'all still in covenant. I would give y'all some wiggle room if somebody had filed for separation or somebody was living outside the house. There's a progress towards, breaking up this union. It's going to take a while because of the assets and the judge. And I can understand the complications of all of that stuff. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I understand the complications of it. But I'm just like, this married man is living in the house with his wife, and they're still operating under the expectation of fidelity, which is why he can't come spend the night with you, which is why he can't sleep on the phone with you. You are fully aware of this, and you're still publicly trying to go at his wife like she ain't his whole wife. Like she's still got claims, legal claims on this nigga. Nigga die tomorrow. Everything he owned going to her. I need Pap and Remy to get offline. I need them to figure out what it is that they want to do. If they want to be in this union together, they want to stay as married people, they got to get these other people out of their marriage. They need to get some therapy and figure themselves out. If they want to see other people, because obviously an open relationship is not on the table for them. They're very upset about infidelity. They need to separate and divvy up their assets, find a custody plan for the baby. I think the baby is like 6 or 7 now, and go forth and live their separate, individual, divorced, living as single people lives. Because whatever they doing now, this ain't it. Behind the scenes, it was crazy. But to invite the public into this, I don't know what you want me to think about any of this stuff. Like, okay, so you cheating and he cheating. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Some people are like, well, Remy cheated first, like, and he stayed. And now he's cheating now, and you stayed. Like, what are y'all doing? To me, it sounds like y'all want to be together. Y'all just got some severe issues with fidelity at least, and then some other stuff going on in the marriage, which has y'all seeking partnership, companionship outside of the marriage. Otherwise, y'all just trifling. I don't think that's the case. But I was like, oh, he cheating, she cheating. As one of my good friends in my head on Facebook said, she's like, an even swap ain't no swindle. What you want me to do with this? Now you done told the whole world your business, and this affects my Christmas plans. How? I know you in a bunch of bullshit. We talk about in the group chat. We talk about it on the podcast. I do understand the desire to want to clear your name. Like people are talking shit about you and you know that like they talk about me because my business in the street, which her business in the street because she was fucking a nigga that liked to run his mouth. Okay, Jada. I understand the idea of wanting to change the narrative or address the narrative and be like, it's not just me. It's more to it than what y'all think. But like you shared that with me. I don't know you. I'm a stranger. I can't help you. I don't think no real ways about either one of y'all any better or any worse than I did before, other than to be like, damn, they in some shit. That's all I got for you, bad. They wanted to tell their inner circle. Remy wouldn't go tell Joe. Joe probably already know. I feel like Joe's her brother. He been knowing this shit. But like, if you want to tell your inner circle, like people whose opinions actually have some relevance or some effects on your actual life, then sure. But I was like, you've told millions of people for what? What can we do? I wish them the best. I say that with no malice. I say that with genuine sincerity. It doesn't feel good to be in crisis. It doesn't feel good to be worried about a divorce or headed toward a divorce when like everything that matters to you in your life, your mental, emotional, psychological, financial, everything is up for grabs in jeopardy. And then on top of that, like these are two people who they can just tell by the malice and the way they speak to one another. They're very angry with each other, and there's a lot of big feelings that are happening there. They're not done with each other. The opposite of love is not anger, it's not hate, because those still big feelings. It's indifference. They are not indifferent toward one another. There's still something there. They need to figure out what that is and what to do with it and whether they're going to try to work on it or let it go. Look at me on my life coach shit again. I watched the Jamie Foxx special on Netflix. I was really excited about that because I started talking about it like a week before it came out. Like I said earlier, it's billed as a personal testimony and not a comedy, which is smart because I think if you go into this looking for comedy, that's not what you're going to get. It's very Rothaniel in a sense. And Rothaniel in a way was Richard Pryor, that like personal narrative. Like when Richard Pryor used to talk about like, I think he referred to it as like freebasing cocaine. And I was like, you mean smoking crack? Rothaniel had a more somber tone to it. It was almost like a therapy session. I love Rothaniel. I thought it was amazing. I think that was the direction that Jamie Foxx was trying to go in. I liked it. I'm happy that it got nominated for a Golden Globe because I like Jamie Foxx lots. Remember he first got sick and I was like, I didn't realize how strongly I felt about Jamie Foxx. And I was like, I've been probably watching him on TV since I was in Living Color, Wanda, 11, 12. I think I was in middle school. I was like, I've been watching Jamie Foxx for like the better part of 30 years of my life. So I was like, yeah, I do feel strongly about him. So just keep in mind, I like Jamie Foxx. And I wanted to know, the show is called What Had Happened Was. I wanted to know what happened to him. And this special is the first time that he's publicly addressed it. So I tuned in because like he's ready to talk and I respected his privacy. He never really had to say shit, but like you want to share and I'm interested to know. So I tuned in. Essentially, he doesn't really know what happened. There was a brain bleed that led to a stroke and there's 20 days of his life that he doesn't remember. He was very, very sick, like at death's door. He had to relearn to walk. One of the things that struck me about the special, he's physically back in good form. Mentally, he's not fully back yet. He's doing this special and he's very grateful. Like he's filled with gratitude that he has gotten this second chance at life. He cried multiple times trying to share his testimony. And he's trying to make light of parts of it. He's trying to tell jokes about like his sister and the nurses and a doctor. And I never laughed once. Not necessarily because it wasn't funny, but just because of what it was about. And he's clearly not well. Like it's one of those, like I'm trying to laugh through my pain, laugh through my tears. And I mean, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't for me. I just wanted to hug him. I couldn't laugh. I wanted to hug him. I wanted somebody to get up on the stage and hug him. Like when he first came out and he was like, I'm back. And the applause of the crowd, he hadn't heard it in a while. There was likely a point in his recovery where he thought like, I'm done for. Like I'll never experience this again. And he started crying. So when he starts crying, I start crying. And it happened throughout the episode. Like, I think maybe he had kept the special to just personal narrative, comedy, whatever you want to call it. It might have worked a little better for me. But it's like the first part of it is narrative. And then he goes into, like, he brings his daughter on the stage and they sing a song together. And that was very beautiful. Then it goes to like a reminder. He starts talking about how, like, you know, people kept saying I was a clone. And he was like, well, could a clone do this? And then he does an impersonation of when he did Ray Charles. And then he does an impersonation of when he did Willie Beeman from Any Given Sunday. I love that movie. Oh my God, I used to watch that movie all the time. At that point, we're kind of like into like variety hour. And so then he gets to the piano and starts singing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like he's like, okay, we forgot you could sing. And now you're singing. You have a beautiful voice. You're playing the piano and you're singing at the same time. Earlier when I said it was kind of like an audition, like that's what the whole thing started to feel like to me. And it was like, oh, he's like reminding, I don't know, networks, studios, whoever, could possibly hire him, that he's like back in fine form and open for business. Look at all my talents on display. Like I am a Renaissance man, as Darius Lovehall once put it. And he's immensely talented. He's dope. He's talented. He's great. I just felt like the special was a bit disjointed. Like, if you want to come out and sing to me, like, just come on and sing. If you want to come out and do like a personal narrative, like a Rothaniel, you want to sit on the chair, you want to tell me a narrative, like, I'm cool with that. You want to do like impersonations? Okay. Even if you wanted to call it like a variety hour and be like, okay, well, I'm tuning in. I'm just going to get like a hodgepodge or whatever you got to give me. Maybe it's the marketing I'm complaining about. I don't know. And still, I would watch it again and recommend that other people watch it. Just because like the massive talent that is on display. And I'm like, my God, this man is extremely talented. Like he's amazing. He's all over the place. But I think that's also a reflection of probably like where he is in his head. Because he had like a near-death experience that caused him to reevaluate who he is. Like he talks extensively about being in rehab and being like so frustrated that his body won't do what you want it to do, what he wants it to do. And he was like, I'm Jamie Foxx. Like, how does this happen to me? Like, I'm Jamie Foxx. I'm JB Foxx. And I'm like, yeah, you still human and a child of God, nigga. Like, it sounded like a little bit of Hollywood had gone to his head. And then he also has this narrative about how, and this is some real, like, I think my interpretation, like some deep South, he was raised by his grandma in like East Neverwhere, Texas. His interpretation of what happened to him is he strayed too far from God, and God gave him this illness to remind him of him being God, of God's power, and how Jamie needed to be more obedient to him. And I was like, is that it? Or like, are you like a man in your 50s and just some shit happened? Does it have to be that a wrathful God is punishing you, leveled you to the point that you have to relearn to walk in order to make you more obedient? Everyone has their own interpretation of God. Like religion is a belief system, belief in how you believe and what you believe. Even if you're all under the same banner of Christianity or under, the banner of a particular sect of Christianity. I'm not criticizing his take. I'm just saying that like, that's kind of putting a lot of self-blame, isn't it? You got sick. Is it your fault? You had a brain bleed that led to a stroke. Surely, Jamie, there are other people who've had strokes for a variety of reasons, and it had nothing to do with God wanting to punish them and bring them closer to the Lord. There's other ways for God to do that. I just felt that was like a lot that he's putting on himself. I mean, he's choosing to put on himself, which is, it's his choice to make. But I was like, I just feel like just on top of everything else that he's dealing with, that was just a lot to like for him to hold. I took notes. I've been freestyling everything that I just said. Oh, I said if Jamie Foxx pulled an Al Green, decides to become a minister, I'd be completely unsurprised. This special should have been called I Am Not a Clone, because it's really clear that he feels a way about that. Oh, I did laugh when he started singing about no more white girls. That was hilarious. And then he ended it and was like, no more white girls in public. And I was like, nigga, you still gonna fuck with white girls. It's fine. As long as you don't throw black girls under the bus to justify it, I honestly don't care. I'm reading literally through my notes. I said he is deeply grateful to be alive and have a second chance. That's probably the most beautiful part of this. Also, we need a new album, Jamie. He's pulling a Rothaniel. I watched this whole special and I still don't know what really happened to him, just that he was fucked up. It's a testimony, not a comedy. If you go in expecting comedy, you'll be disappointed. This strikes me as someone who was down bad and made a deal with God. If you get me back to okay, I can take it from there. And I'll elevate your name. Tell everyone what you did for me. I'll be a missionary. I'll go convert. I did that with the divorce. Physically, I was fine. Mentally, I was down bad. We talked about that a bunch of times. But like, just God, like, get me out of this place, and I'll tell people what you did for me. And I do that. All right, that's the episode, the 500th episode. It's a bit late. It's 8:31 on the East Coast. This was supposed to be in somewhere around 3 o'clock. I just could not pull it together today. But I'm about to edit this. It'll probably go up on Saturday morning. Apologies for the delay. It's getting done. It just ain't getting done on a timeline that I wanted. Nevertheless, she prevailed. All right. We'll talk on Tuesday. Bye.